So in today's video of Soft Wife Life Prep, I'm talking about sex. Sex and finance, I put them right next to each other because those are the top two things that marriages often end because of. So in my preparation to be a wife, one of the things I wanted to learn about was how does sex function in marriage? How is it different than, single life? What are some of the research on sex and what are some of the problems that people have? Lots of things that don't really apply to me about why people break up because of sex, but sex compatibility in general, I think is very important. So if you're considering like, what role does sex play? Like you're a sexual being. So if you're not having sex, that might be a problem in marriage, right? And if you want a different type of sex than your partner wants, can also be a problem. I I mean, I consider myself to be a sex positive parent. And so it just means that I spend a lot of time learning about the educational parts about sex. So I'm very comfortable talking about sex. If you're not comfortable talking about sex, that might be one of the areas to start with because you gotta talk about sex with your partner, right? About who's initiating it, what happens if you're not in the mood. In marriage, one of the worst things a woman can do is withhold sex because sex is one of those like foundation builders in the relationship, even if you all are disconnected. Like it's important to bring sex back into the conversation. So with all of that in mind, I'm really preparing for the sex that happens in marriage. So research shows that married couples have more sex than single people. And when couples stop having sex, there's usually a disconnection in the relationship. Like it's a sign of problems versus the cause of problems. Because typically women, when we're not in the mood, it's because of some ancillary thing that's happened that has nothing to do with sex. But I say sex starts long before the bedroom, especially for women. Men, I mean, the testosterone has y'all, worked in a different way. But for women, it's very, very important if you don't feel like having sex. Like I have had this experience of like, yeah, don't touch me. That you really figure out what is it that is triggering this feeling. Why would you not want to be connected to your partner, the person you love? This is the person you should want to be experiencing all these things with, so that you can then engage in this connection. I just think it's very important considering the frequency that you want to have sex. Average for married couples is about 3 times a week, but different people have different sex drives. So you have to consider that in the sexual compatibility as well. I also think considering the type, right? The type of sex. I say I like vanilla sex. I'm real girl. I'm real regular. I'm not really a prude, but I used to say I'm a prude in real life. I just like real basic sex. Okay. If you look at somebody like Candy Burris, right, who's invited other people into her bedroom, who has been very open with her sex dungeon tour and all of that, like what kind of sexual experiences do you want to have? Sometimes people feel like they can't express themselves with their partner, but then are you really picking the right one? Because who you pick for a partner, one of the most important decisions you will ever make in your life. I just think it's really, really important to consider the kind of sex, the frequency of sex, what the sex drive is, what the fantasies are of the person that you're going to be with. I would never encourage anybody who's 30 plus to don't have sex before marriage. I like y'all out of high school in your 20s, saving yourself, that's cute. That's real cute. I think if you're going biblical, like you're supposed to be married by like 21, 25 at the latest. Right? Women are supposed to be covered by all that stuff. But if you have made it into your 30s and you are sexually active, right? You're not a virgin, so you're not looking for another virgin, you would have to assume that the other person has some experience. And if they do and they don't want to have sex with you, I just think that's a really red flag. I just think it's a really red flag if it's not like, yeah, I don't know. In thinking about like this, the kind of problems that people can have when it comes to sex, I can't imagine not having a physical experience because that's such an important part of the person I'm choosing until my wedding day. Like we're gonna date for 2 years, get married, and I just wouldn't recommend it. Okay, if you're Christian, like I understand, date another Christian. You're gonna, go through marriage counseling from the pastor, all of that stuff. They should cover like sex and the importance of sex in the relationship. Yeah, I just some people are hiding things. That's all I'm gonna say. But in terms of me, just really, really having that conversation with my partner, figuring out what he likes, what I like, and then combining those things together so that we can have, a very fulfilling sex life, because sex is very, very important to a relationship. Okay? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, share this video with someone you know that may like it or is preparing for marriage. And thank you for watching.